Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to Monday, March 3's summary of The Young and the Restless, Lily Winter's revelation infuriates Nate Hastings, and Diane Jenkins Abbott will disparage Phyllis Summers to Billy Abbott. On Monday's episode of YNR, Sally Spectra will chat about this being a big night for Billy while fluffing the sofa pillows at his house. Now that Jack Abbott has invested in Abbott Communications, Diane and Jack Abbott will visit to celebrate. There will be toasts and discussions on the upgrades being made to the Abbott home. When Diane mentions that Phyllis works for Billy's company, she will start to wonder if he truly wants to collaborate with her. When Diane learns that Phyllis is going missing and making unexpected business transactions, she will become concerned, even though Billy would defend her as a valuable asset. In private, Jack will tell Billy that he respects his judgment after urging Diane to stop disparaging Phyllis and dampening Billy's spirits. Having said that, Jack will essentially admonish Billy about dealing with Phyllis. They will resume their conversation about Phyllis at the GCAC once Jack and Diane depart. Jack will acknowledge that he attempted to warn Billy more gently than Phyllis did, and he will say that he truly wants his brother to succeed on this initiative. Diane will say it's usually a crash landing when you go somewhere with Phyllis. Back with Billy, he'll imply to Sally that he's thought about firing Phyllis because of her dubious and enigmatic behavior. But, given that Phyllis is not a moron and is aware that this is her last chance, Billy will come across as suspicious and question whether something else is happening. When Sally asks Billy whether he believes something has happened to Phyllis, it's clear from his look that he is concerned about it. Billy will continue to feel uneasy and hopes that Phyllis will give him an update over the phone. Damian Kane will at least be open to trying to mend their strained relationship, and Amy Lewis will make greater progress with him at the GCAC. Damian will ask about the reliability of Nate's cousins after bringing up Lily and Devin Winters. At first, Amy will be perplexed by Damian's involvement, but he will pretend that it stems from his willingness to connect with Nate. Nate will join Lily and Billy for cocktails at his place as they commemorate a recent business transaction that Winters finalized. Eventually, the topic of Damian will come up, and Lily will acknowledge that she had him looked into. Devin will believe they should at least hear what Lily has discovered, but Nate won't be happy about the news. Lily will acknowledge that Damian only serves as the CEO of the businesses they once believed he owned. Nate will somewhat defend Damian and imply that perhaps there is a reason for his deceit once Lily clarifies that Aristotle Dumas is the true owner. Nate will want to assume the best of Damian. Lily will acknowledge that Victor Newman is the source of her intelligence after Nate presses her to do so. Because of Victor's involvement, Nate will lose his temper and worry that everything will backfire. Nate will be concerned that Damian will learn about Lily's inquiry and be put off by it because his top priority will be to assist Amy in getting back in touch with her son. Nate won't be pleased either because Lily will reveal that she has met with Damian more than once. Nate will apologize for hitting Lily so hard after he snaps at her. Nevertheless, Nate will be quite clear that he doesn't need Lily's assistance and didn't ask for it. Nate will want Lily to stay away from any further inquiries or unplanned encounters with Damian because Amy has a lot on the line. We'll give you more predictions on all the Damian drama because spoilers for The Young and the Restless indicate that there will be more family strife in the future. Check back frequently for more interesting Young and the Restless spoilers, predictions, updates, and news on CDL. Aristotle Dumas, Damian's enigmatic business partner, has been the subject of much discussion in recent days on The Young and the Restless. Inexplicably, Damian transformed from a 16-year-old fugitive with nothing to his name to a highly prosperous businessman managing this man's enterprises. The issue is that nobody appears to be familiar with Aristotle. Further, Holden's truth is a ticking time bomb. Since there isn't even a picture to confirm this man's existence, Victor has Michael on the case. And for that reason, we are rather certain that Aristotle Dumas is a completely fictional character. You don't just call your business Monte Cristo Investments for fun, after all. One well-known book with a highly particular plot is The Count of Monte Cristo. The story revolves around a guy who is caught and imprisoned on false charges orchestrated by his romantic rival, a jealous coworker, really, a crewmate, as they were employed on a ship, and a dishonest judge. After years of imprisonment, he managed to escape, found a fortune, and used it to forge a new identity, the Count of Monte Cristo, which he then used to exact retribution. Naturally, Alexandre Dumas wrote the Count of Monte Cristo. Aristotle Dumas is only a step or two away from this. The only pertinent questions, given that this is Genoa City, are, who is Aristotle really trying to get revenge on, and what is his true identity? Was he Victor's former romantic rival whom the mustache had destroyed in the past? Did Michael, in his early evil days, throw him into prison? Was he a rising star in Jabot when Neil first started out, and he blamed the late Winter's grandfather for losing his job? Or perhaps his career goals were derailed when Jack, for whatever reason, let him go from Jabot. In addition, someone abducts Sharon and Phyllis for unclear reasons just as Aristotle's name is beginning to be used. Is this a coincidence or more enigmatic retaliation? There are many options, but you can bet that Aristotle has some close connections to people in Genoa City who are not Damien. We also have some suggestions about who might portray him. Aristotle may be Tyrone Jackson's affluent alter ego, and Phil Morris could return if the show wishes to delve deeper into history. In the 1980s, he went undercover to capture Genoa City mobster Joseph Anthony. Tyrone persuaded Nate Hastings to turn on his mob boss, give up his leave, and begin a new life in Genoa City while he was undercover. Before Nate finally prevailed and Tyrone permanently departed town, the two even fought for Amy's affections. Or did he? Los Angeles, January 1st, The Young and the Restless, starring David Lee Rousseff and Jess Walton. Cliff Lipson/CBS photo via Getty Images. David Lee Rousseff, who played Sean Bridges, Jabot's web designer who almost courted Jill approximately 25 years ago, is another option if we're looking for someone with ties to Young and Restless but who could play a fresh role. Rousseff, who also had turns on Another World and Guiding Light, could always bring a new character to Genoa City with a familiar face, but Sean wouldn't have much of an incentive to come back. What about Ron Raines, since we brought up Guiding Light? Robert Newman was a huge hit on the program until Ashland went crazy, and Alan Spaulding from Springfield was a vicious businessman who would be the ideal model if Aristotle isn't on the rise. Angela Robinson and Peter Penrose from The Haves and Have Nots set. In contrast, Peter Penrose received praise for his almost 10-year role as Dr. Ben Harris on As the World Turns. He also had appearances on Santa Barbara, One Life to Live, and even Young and Restless in the 1980s, in addition to numerous soap operas in primetime, such as Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. There isn't a greater mentor we can think of to take a young Damien under his wing. Hey, Aristotle doesn't necessarily have evil intentions. What do you think? Does the enigmatic Aristotle pose a threat to the citizens of Genoa City? Could it be someone we know already? Sally, moved by Audra's honesty, tears up at the beauty of her friend's newfound happiness. However, the moment is interrupted when Holden Novak enters the scene, exchanging a loaded glance with Audra that hints at unresolved tension between them. Sally, ever perceptive, notices the exchange and begins to wonder what secrets Audra is keeping. Meanwhile, in the mental hospital where Sharon and Phyllis are being held captive, the two women wake up cuddled together on the sofa, a stark contrast to their usual animosity. The blaring alarm jolts them awake, and they quickly separate, their initial camaraderie replaced by their trademark bickering. Phyllis shuts off the alarm and checks the phones, which have been reset once again. Sharon isn't surprised, noting that their captor wouldn't let them call anyone they wanted. Their conversation quickly devolves into sniping, with Phyllis calling the captor a weirdo and Sharon questioning whether the person stayed in the room overnight. The tension is momentarily broken when the coffee maker on the table starts brewing, prompting laughter from Sharon. Despite the absurdity of their situation, they both recognize that their captor has meticulously planned every detail of their ordeal. As they sip their coffee, Sharon and Phyllis begin to lower their guards, engaging in a rare moment of genuine conversation. Phyllis acknowledges that their constant sniping has to end if they want to escape, and Sharon reluctantly agrees. They reflect on the riddle they solved earlier, which led them to reminisce about their infamous chocolate fountain fight. The memory, once a source of bitterness, now becomes a shared moment of laughter as they recall how they both smelled like candy bars for weeks afterward. Phyllis suggests that perhaps the purpose of the game is to force them to confront their past and focus on the bigger picture. Sharon, surprised by Phyllis's introspection, asks why she's suddenly being so civil. Phyllis responds that they need to meet each other halfway if they want to survive, and Sharon agrees, though she warns that their truce is temporary. Their fragile alliance is tested when the captor's voice interrupts, asking if they're ready to continue the game. The cell phones buzz with a new riddle, I bubble and flow, dark and gooey, but there's acid behind the sweetness. Phyllis immediately recognizes it as a reference to the chocolate fountain, and they once again revisit their shared history. Sharon apologizes for pushing Phyllis into the fountain, acknowledging that it was childish and something she regrets. Phyllis, in turn, admits that she shouldn't have retaliated by pulling Sharon into the chocolate. Their laughter fades as they reflect on how much they've matured since then, but the underlying tension between them remains. Phyllis suggests that their mutual hatred stems from their shared history with Nick, and Sharon reluctantly agrees. Back in Genoa City, Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Nick Newman compare notes on the strange phone calls they received from Phyllis and Sharon. Daniel is relieved to hear that both women are fine, but Nick remains unconvinced. He finds it odd that Sharon didn't want to speak directly to Faith and Mariah, knowing how much her absence would worry them. Daniel points out that Phyllis only contacted Summer, not both of her children, which adds to the mystery. Nick's suspicions grow as he considers the timing of the calls and the use of burner phones. Despite their concerns, they agree to keep their suspicions to themselves, especially when Billy arrives and begins asking questions about Phyllis's whereabouts. Billy's frustration is evident as he complains about Phyllis's sudden disappearance and her failure to respond to his calls. Nick and Daniel try to reassure him, claiming that Phyllis is dealing with phone issues and has left town for business meetings. However, Billy senses that they're hiding something and demands to know the truth. His determination to find Phyllis sets the stage for a deeper investigation as he vows to uncover the mystery behind her disappearance. At Crimson Lights, Audra confronts Holden about their past, admitting that she lied to Nate about the nature of their relationship. Holden, however, refuses to let her rewrite history, reminding her of the intensity they once shared. Audra, determined to protect her relationship with Nate, warns Holden to keep his distance, but his presence threatens to unravel the carefully constructed narrative she's built. Sally, witnessing the tension between them, begins to question what secrets Audra is keeping and how they might impact her friendship with Nate. As the episode draws to a close, the various storylines converge, setting the stage for even more drama in the days to come. Sharon and Phyllis's fragile truce is tested as they continue to navigate the captor's twisted game, while Billy's determination to find Phyllis puts him on a collision course with Nick and Daniel. Audra's confrontation with Holden hints at deeper secrets yet to be revealed, and Sally's growing doubts about her relationship with Billy add another layer of tension to the narrative. The residents of Genoa City are once again caught in a web of love, betrayal, and danger, ensuring that the next episode will be filled with gripping storytelling and emotional moments that will keep viewers eagerly tuning in. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, March 3rd, dives into a whirlwind of drama, revelations, and simmering tensions as the residents of Genoa City grapple with personal and professional challenges. At the heart of the episode are the ongoing mysteries surrounding Phyllis Summer's disappearance and the enigmatic figure of Aristotle Dumas, whose shadowy presence looms over the city. The episode also explores the complex dynamics between Diane Jenkins Abbott and Billy Abbott, as well as the fallout from Lily Winter's confession to Nate Hastings about her investigation into Damian Kane. As alliances shift and secrets come to light, the stage is set for even more explosive developments in the days to come. The episode opens at Billy Abbott's place, where Sally Spectra is busy fluffing the sofa pillows and preparing for a celebratory evening. Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott arrive to toast Billy's new venture, Abbott Communications, which Jack has recently invested in. The atmosphere is initially warm and celebratory, with Diane complimenting the renovations at the Abbott mansion and expressing her excitement for Billy's new business. However, the conversation takes a sharp turn when Diane brings up Phyllis Summer's involvement in the company. Diane questions whether Billy truly wants to work with Phyllis, given her history of chaos and unpredictability. Billy defends Phyllis as a valuable asset to the company, but Diane's concerns grow when she learns that Phyllis is currently MIA and making surprise business deals without consulting anyone. Jack, sensing the tension, privately urges Diane to stop trashing Phyllis and raining on Billy's parade. He assures Billy that he trusts his judgment but subtly warns him to proceed with caution when it comes to Phyllis. Jack's words carry a mix of support and concern, as he genuinely wants Billy to succeed but is wary of Phyllis's potential to derail the project. After Jack and Diane leave, they continue their discussion about Phyllis at the GCAC. Jack admits that he tried to give Billy a gentler warning about Phyllis, emphasizing that he wants his brother to thrive. Diane, however, remains skeptical, arguing that partnering with Phyllis is a recipe for disaster. Her sharp wit and biting commentary underscore her deep-seated distrust of Phyllis, setting the stage for further conflict.